Hopefully, I don't have no technical difficulties. But what up, everybody? This is your boy Kano, the brutally honest gamer, and welcome to Gamer Section Live, where we interview a lot of game developers and pick their brains out what's going on. So, I am Kano, the brutally honest gamer. So, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So basically, I'm Simi. My name is Simi. I'm from Turkey. I have been working for this project for the last 2 years. Shargad First Blood, which is a 2D turn-based RPG in the vein of Darkest Dungeon, and I'm the uh, basically owner of the project, and I'm the game designer. And the core team is pretty small, just me and I have a programmer buddy from India. We are working like every day together. Together, I mean
Okay.
remotely. On top of that, we have couple of artists, animators, most of them freelancers. Basically, we just I just find them through ArtStation or stuff like that. And I can say like this is like a totally in the project. I'm the sole financer. We don't really have any financial support or whatnot.
Okay. Okay.
Roughly, it's like
So,
that.
okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, like, the first question I need to ask you is like, what was the first game that you've played that made you fall in love with gaming?
Uh, I can say there are two games, two franchises which really helped me where I am in the basis of like my gaming knowledge, especially RPG knowledge, and my
Hmm.
interest in the genre. One of them is Diablo 1, and the second one would be actually second and third one should be Might and Magic 6 and Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Those three games probably made my childhood,
Hmm.
which was also like great determinators why I have chosen this path right now.
Okay.
But
Okay.
of course, there are
Interesting.
many similar games I can count, but these are the main ones.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So, like, what made you get into game development?
Uh, it's kind of long story, but long story short, I was actually I have a engineering background, right?
Hmm.
And I was on the sales part of the stuff. Like I have been working for the companies in the machinery industries, but I was the sales guy. Like,
Hmm.
but a couple of like almost 5 years in the corporate life, I was always asking myself like, what the hell I am doing here? There's some problems like that. You don't feel yourself you are fit in that society or in that organization. And after questioning myself for a while, in the beginning of the corona, I just quit my job.
Hmm.
And actually, I didn't have a backup plan then. I was just thinking to continue writing. So I was like, I'm also a writer. I'm a fantasy writer, and
Hmm.
I was writing a very long fantasy series together on the side while I was working as a sales guy. And
Hmm.
then at some point, I said like, uh, you know, I just quit my job. There's this social status problems like your family tells like, why are you idle? Why
Hmm.
the hell you are not working after some time, after a couple of months maybe? And then basically for this social pressure, let's say, I decided I should maybe get back to the previous job I was, just with a little bit different, uh, how do you say, not the same company, but a different
Hmm.
style. Like I could be a mediator or something like that. So I just set up some business meeting in Spain. We were gonna
Hmm.
go to Spain with some colleague, and the last day it was canceled because of the corona. And probably that was the defining moment how I started development. After that point, I said like I should do something, something that could make sense in this time,
Hmm.
in this like status of the world, and also something I like. And I just this gaming stuff was always in the back of my mind, basically just because I was a gamer since childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And also the book I said I'm writing, which is in the fantasy setting of
Right.
Shargad. Okay. And then I just started. First, I just wanted to start myself to see how I can figure this out, because it's a job basically you don't know. you
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how you can do it. You don't know how much money you need. So I was actually contacting this guy in Ubisoft, like a game designer.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this game, Might and Magic X. I don't know if you have played.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have.
and I love the game, so I contacted with the game designer, and I just asked like, so how much budget do you need to make something like this? Basically, I was imagining I should also do a game like that. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, it's not much. Ubisoft like didn't land so much budget. It's just $1 million. And I said like, what the hell? Like, it's really a lot of money. A
Right.
person, a common person like you and me, I don't know, cannot imagine
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
do. So
Yeah.
after like 1 year, I just started this Corona stuff happened, and I started this time researching myself, and I found out basically you could do these things by yourself with an engine called Unity. I was ignorant to this information before.
Mm-hmm.
So I took some classes from Udemy. It took a couple of days for me to understand. I'm not a programmer. I
Yeah.
cannot program myself, but I had a very good idea. I could make some game design. I had a very good idea of a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started looking for people to program,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it started. And it's again after that it's a very long story. Like first I found these guys from India, like a company. They're like an IT company. They said like they can make a game in very short time and stuff like that. They promise you they are gonna take you to the wonderland, and they just leave you in the middle of the desert, stuff like that. So basically 2 years ago, in October in 2020, I started working for the project, but I
Mm-hmm.
started working with probably wrong people. So for 4 and 5 months, I just like work with people, every day. It was bullshit. I don't know how to put it to words, but they just hired a couple of guys from university who doesn't know anything about programming, just basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so after some time, I have seen that like I'm in the very wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
I lost time, I lost money, and it's been like 4 or 5 months, so I had to stop it. And also, it was another defining moment for me, because I could have just said, "Hey, I should just leave this." Maybe this is the wrong path for me. But I was very adamant, and I said, like, "Yeah, I lost some money, I lost some time, effort, whatever you can imagine, but I got some experience. Now I knew what kind of people I had to work with." So I basically made some research locally in Turkey. I contacted couple of programmers, couple of people. I got close to working with one, but he preferred to be in a mobile industry.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met this guy from India, and he's a freelancer. Like he was basically he had a similar life story close to mine. He was also similar to my age, close to my age, and he wasn't exactly at a place where he wanted to be in life like me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I just we just talk. I said like, okay, I can. We just talk basically about technical stuff, financial stuff, whatnot, and then we decided to go. Basically, meanwhile, I was already working with animators, artists, or anyone else. I didn't tell anyone like, okay, the project stopped because I basically it cannot go further with the other programmers or
Right,
so.
right. Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, like when you look from one aspect in our project, really, like I have worked with a lot of people in 2 years, and most of them they just come and go. Like they just draw a couple of characters for me. They just left. Freelancers, but I mean, very small contributions. So I cannot really say there are many people in the core group. So basically, right now, it's me and one programmer. We are the main base team. And there are a
Mm-hmm.
few artists, they stuck with me for a long time, not just two, three characters, but
Mm-hmm.
a majority portion of the art and animation. And
Okay.
yeah, right now, basically, we are in a fine spot technically,
Mm-hmm.
but financially, every passing day that we don't go early access or we don't make money is a burden for me. But we'll
Mm-hmm.
figure it out somehow.
Okay, okay. Well, you just answered two of my questions already.
Yeah,
It's,
doesn't
it's
matter.
all
You
good.
can you can feel free to ask more questions.
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. Those are some dope answers. So, like, all right. So, tell us about the name of your game, the title of it.
Shargad.
Like, how, yeah,
Yeah,
how did it like come like about? What was the inspiration behind the name of the game?
yeah. Basically, Shargad means in Sumerian, in ancient Sumerian language, it means the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, like 8 9 years ago, when I was creating this fantasy setting of Shargad, I
Mm-hmm.
researched Sumerian language and I started to give such names,
Mm-hmm.
looking from some ancient this Pennsylvania Edu University English Sumerian dictionary, which is really hard to find. So
Mm-hmm.
I started researching those ancient Mesopotamian names because the basis of my setting is the ancient Mesopotamian mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Shargat means basically the word, and the name of the game is Shargat First Blood, and the
Mm-hmm.
fantasy setting is called Shargat, like Middle Earth, actually, is the name
Mm-hmm.
of the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that sounds very, very interesting. Very interesting. So, next question I have to ask you is like, where does Shargad First Blood takes place?
It takes place in the southern region of Shargat, which
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I'm creating those fictional lands and countries, I'm generally taking my inspirations from the world, right? So it is somewhere similar to current day Africa. So I
Mm-hmm.
research a lot of African mythology, African culture, Ethiopian culture, and I added some Mediterranean culture as well to the lore. So in the
Mm-hmm.
game itself, you can find a lot of features from not only Mesopotamian mythology, which is the basis of Shargat, the world, the god pantheon and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and like there are like Mediterranean, African, Indian, lots of cultures, lots of
Okay.
cultures, a lot of playable characters we have,
Mm-hmm.
and each of them they have a different race. Like some of them are like Safriman, which are the people from this land, like Africa, and some of them are Idikumian, which are from the same land. But
Mm-hmm.
just to compare, some of them they're like they're black, and some of them they're like by skin they are brown, and they have
Mm-hmm.
some story basically.
Basically, well, with different cultures that what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So even
Okay.
I have like elves, but I have divided each race to cultures. For example, elf is like a general term for the race, but
Mm-hmm.
desert elf, Bedouin elf, uh,
Mm-hmm.
mist elf, and forest elf, these are the type of cultures that I have in Shargat. Not all of them in my game, of course.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, in the region of the game, in the basically landscape of the game, they are mostly Bedouin
Mm-hmm.
elves.
Okay.
Maybe I'm sharing some pictures in Twitter. Maybe you might have seen some of them.
I've basically seen when I did my research on this game, I did a lot of research and seen a lot of different things within the elements of the game, and it was very
Mhm.
good from what I've seen. So
Mhm.
like the question is like, who's the protagonist in the game?
The protagonist is a guy called Abbas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the story starts with Abbas losing his father. His
Mm-hmm.
father dies, and his dying words is, "Okay, you should find Khalid the healer in Nekisari, a town in our city, in our
Right.
setting. You
Mm-hmm.
should find this healer, and he will tell you the truth about yourself."
Okay.
So Abbas sets up on this mission. He's basically living on a small village near Nekisari. So
Mm-hmm.
he just goes to Nekisari to find this healer. This is how the game starts.
Right.
And after that, basically, I will set up the story in a way that, like, step by step, it will be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
So Abbas will actually not only discover the secret about himself, but
Mm-hmm.
also he will also face with this darker side of himself as the time goes by.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep a nice twist at the end of the story, but I'm gonna keep it for now. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil too much of the game. You don't want to do that though.
Yeah.
So like, what engine are you actually using for this game?
We are doing Unity.
Okay, and I've been hearing about Unity a lot from a lot of game developers. So like, why are you using Unity for this game?
Uh, Basically, for me, the first option was like Unity because that's the first thing I have heard.
Hmm.
Maybe because it's the most common one, right?
Right.
And then the people I met, I basically searched for Unity developers. I felt like I didn't need Unreal because we are not a animation and art heavy game. Like we are not, that there's a common. I don't know, it's a misconception or it's true, but there's a common belief in the industry that if you don't have really like open world 3D, big ass RPGs, you don't need Unreal. But I don't know
Mm.
how true, how correct is that. But probably because it's the most common one and it's the most accessible one. But of course, the way I realize, as I said, I'm not a programmer, but the thing I realize is Unity also has a
Hmm.
lot of bugs. Probably the
Okay.
main reason is, the base code of Unity coming from C++, but you are writing C sharp when you are adding your code to the Unity. So there are some certain clashes, especially while they update Unity every now and
Hmm.
then.
Hmm.
I feel that we get like new bugs every time Unity updates itself.
Okay. I definitely feel that. So back to this game, right? So tell us about the turn-based style of this game. Like, give us the details about the battling mechanics.
Yeah, basically, battle is the most important feature in the game and most important
Hmm.
system.
Hmm.
Uh, have you played Guardian Quest?
I play so many
Guardian,
games. I can't. I play so many games. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I basically played it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Darkest Dungeon with you know with some perspective. So you don't
Hmm.
just put four guys in a row. There are
Yeah.
seven spots in the enemy field, seven spots in the alive field, and they
Hmm.
have their own like lanes and rows. So we don't
Right.
just have rows, sorry, lanes like in Dark Dungeon, but
Hmm.
we have rows and lanes. And the positioning matters, although the game is not a tactical game, so to say. The positioning is important because some of the skills cannot be cast from certain positions.
Hmm.
So you have to build your characters very carefully. Like there's a progression system based on the skill system. Maybe I can, like you asked about combat system, but it's very related to skill system. I can talk about skill system if you want, which is a core feature for the game.
By all means, speak on it.
Sure, sure. So the skill system is like this. Every character, every playable character, hero. We call them heroes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have more than 20 playable characters, which is, I think, a pretty good number for a game like us. In similar games,
Mm-hmm.
I see generally the number of characters change between 10 and 15. So I just wanted to add more content and
Mm-hmm.
make it as rich as possible. So we have the characters where I divided the base character classes into three: mage type of heroes, warrior type of heroes, hunter type
Mm-hmm.
of heroes. So mage type of heroes
Mm-hmm.
basically have like more magical type of skills. Warrior type of guys, they have more physical type of skills, and so on. And each character, they have four combat skills to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Three of them are the
Okay.
basic combat skills. One of them is the ulti. And
Mm-hmm.
each three combat skills, they have up to six perks. You can upgrade your skill by giving these perks. And the
Mm-hmm.
good thing about our game, also the thing that makes the game very hard to develop from the programming perspective, is that these perks are pretty complicated. It's not just like I give one perk,
Mm-hmm.
I had 10 damage, now I have 15 damage. Instead, like for example, we have a character named Ryan. Okay, it's a water mage. So he has
Mm-hmm.
a skill named Cleansing Water. This is a buy base healing skill, but by giving some perks,
Right.
by giving a perk path, you can convert this into a damage skill. So if you target your
Mm-hmm.
ally, it will heal. If you target your enemy, it will damage. And then if you
Mm-hmm.
further give more perks to this skill, it can soak the enemy, it can give additional status effects. I don't know, it can
Mm-hmm.
give some dots maybe. So we are basically, this is the major way we create the skill customization. So the number of chances, the or number of combinations player can create with the party and their skill combinations is like very high. And these are only the combat skills which are used on,
Okay.
yeah, these are the combat skills. And we have, on top of this, we have two more skills which are called utility skills, like wait and move.
Mm-hmm.
So you can move from different to different positions. And the wait skill is more like, we actually call it patience. And you, when you don't
Mm-hmm.
have enough stamina, you use the skill to gain stamina regen. And sometimes these do generic skills. So these two are like common skills: wait and patience. But some of the
Mm-hmm.
heroes, they have an alternative skill to this. For example, this guy water mage, I said, instead of this wait skill, he has something called water shell. So this water shell
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do the same thing as patience, but for example, it can increase his armor, it can increase his damage mitigation and his stamina
Mm-hmm.
regeneration more. And on top of this combat skills and utility skills, we have weapon skills. And weapon skill is a unique skill for each hero, where you
Mm-hmm.
can unlock by enchanting your weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So the weapons of heroes are actually like Darkest Dungeon. You cannot buy or sell. It is like a fixed picture. But
Okay.
you can enchant the weapons with certain gems, so to create these additional skills.
Right. Right.
I don't know if
So,
it sounds a little bit complicated, but I guess if you get into the game, you will figure it out pretty easily.
there's nothing complex about the game. It's very interesting, and you
Mhm.
answered a few more of my questions that I asked, which is funny. It's funny. It's all good though. So the multi-billion-dollar question is like, why should people want to play this game day one?
Yeah. Uh, so you are actually asking what is different in your game, right? Something like that.
No, no, I was saying like, why should people want to play this game day one? Like, why should people want to buy this game day one?
Yeah, yeah. So this is an old school game to start with. I mean, we don't have any. Some people just ask me like, "Hey, do you have something to do with NFTs or so?" We are 100% old school game. I know that there's an interest in the genre. The reason I wanted to design this game and I invested basically everything I got to the game because I enjoy playing such type of games. So that could be the answer I give. They would want to play because I want to play. I want to play Darkest Dungeon. I want to play Gordon Quest. I want to play similar type of games. Even Dead and Wilnut, which looks not very similar, but still it has some similarities. I like to play such games. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. We are not, as I said, a tactical game, but we have some features from there too. So
Okay.
to sum up, our game is like also very story rich, lore rich. These may be the other reasons they might be interested in playing, because I
Okay.
am building these fantasy settings for like 8 9 years.
Okay.
Like generally in games, you wouldn't find the story that challenging, right? That ambitious. Most of the indie
Right.
developers, they just don't give too much attention to these things. I'm As I am a writer myself, I am doing it. I am writing a lot of stuff, even though I know most people will not read those additional lore stuff. Like, for example, in the game, you can find the items called lore scrolls. As you consume them, you will register new additional information to the lore. So even though I know some people, they will most probably not read these additional things, I'm still adding as much as spice possible to the soup. So I hope that someone somewhere they will play. They will want to play and they will like it. But for me, honestly, before the question, like before this problem, I have a bigger problem. I have to finish the game. Like I have to complete the development of the game, which is very challenging as it is my debut. And even the people I work with, they don't have experience in such a big project, which is a very ambitious project for the given budget. That's what I feel right now. As I have 2 years of experience, maybe I thought we could have gone with something smaller. But right now we are at a point that I cannot look back. So I will just do anything to finish the game first, at least go for the demo release, which we were planning for a good while. We had some delays. As I told you, like I had some setbacks in the development process. I had to make a totally change management with the programming perspective, whatever. So right now, that's what I worry about. I didn't even spend my time. How can I market the game? For me,
Okay. Okay.
just most important thing is just finish without any major bugs.
Okay. Okay. So, like, when will Sharad Fresh Blood release, and what platforms will it be on?
Uh, PC, like PC, Mac, and Linux, but we are not going for mobile or PlayStation or Xbox. So these are our main goals.
Okay. Okay. So,
And
like, no, go ahead. My fault.
sorry, like I was just gonna say, we are intending to release the demo in quarter 1. I don't know if you were gonna ask that too. Uh,
Yeah.
23 quarter 1. Most probably we will release the demo because it's been a good while. We were actually thinking to release this month only. The plan we made in March was like we could actually release a demo at this time.
You on social
Sorry, I
technical
missed the
difficulties
last
a
part.
second.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it was a little technical difficulty on mine because it like moved ahead. Like where can they find you at on social media?
Uh, we have Twitter link as we communicate. I don't know. I have to send you a link again. In Twitter, we are most active. Like I'm basically sharing day-to-day updates about the game. I'm sharing art updates. I'm getting feedback for art and UI design. We have a YouTube channel which we have just few videos so far. But I would suggest, like, I would recommend people to follow that channel too. uh, First, to start with, we have a great music. You can listen to that. It's the main theme of the game. It's composed by Ali Saran, a Turkish composer, which is like a pro. He was doing movie music, and now he made our music. And we have also some development highlight videos, like couple of minutes of gameplay and the
Mm-hmm.
teaser, stuff like that. So Twitter and YouTube, I would say they are the most common ones. We also have a Discord channel, but I don't have anyone to take care of this social media channel, so I'm taking care of myself, and I don't really know that much of knowledge of Discord. You have to have all these details, create those channels or whatever, manage the people. So our Discord channel right now seems a little bit dead, but I'm planning to, if we get a release, I will look into that as well.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. It's been another fantastic interview on the gamer section. Make sure y'all go support this game. The link will be in the description below for all the social media links for this upcoming game. And make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the post notification bell for when we drop videos. And we're going to leave it on that note. We out. Peace.